Hello and welcome. If you're an aspiring hotel leader, there's one department you absolutely have to master, even though it often works completely unseen. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on housekeeping. For any future general manager, understanding this department isn't just a line on a resume, it is the absolute key to a hotel's success. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? A beautiful lobby? That's what gets people in the door. It creates that amazing first impression. But it's the room. That's what creates the lasting one. And that's exactly why housekeeping isn't just about cleaning. It's the department that literally crafts the core of the guest experience and decides whether they will ever come back. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. We've got 5 key areas to cover. First, we'll talk about why housekeeping is the hotel's unseen engine. Then we'll get into the big pillars of management: people and standards, resources, and of course, safety. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at that special touch a general manager brings to the whole operation. All right, let's start at the very beginning. We call housekeeping the unseen engine for a really simple reason. When it's running perfectly, you honestly don't even notice it. But the entire hotel, it's operating flawlessly because of it. Its impact is felt absolutely everywhere, even when the work itself is totally invisible. And this brings us to a core truth for any GM. Your success is directly, and I mean directly, tied to this department. A failure in housekeeping isn't just a small mistake. It is a failure in the guest experience, period. As a GM, you have to be deeply connected to the condition of your rooms, always using inspections and guest feedback to stay one step ahead of any issues before they become those lasting negative impressions. So that leads us right into our first pillar: people and standards. Look, excellence doesn't just happen by accident. You have to build it on a solid foundation of well-trained, competent staff and standards that are maintained rigorously. In this table, it perfectly illustrates the partnership that's required. Staffing is never a one-person job. The general manager has to be in constant collaboration with HR for recruitment and with housekeeping leadership for the day-to-day execution. It's this triangle that makes sure the right people are hired, trained, and just as importantly, retained. That's the secret sauce for delivering consistent service. So how do you actually maintain those high standards? Well, it's not about just reacting to problems as they pop up. It's about having a proactive 4-step system. A great GM has to champion regular inspections, really dig into guest feedback to find those hidden patterns, make sure issues get resolved instantly, and keep communication flowing through things like team briefings. This is how you get the entire team focused on that one single goal: excellence. Moving on to Pillar 2, resources and budgets. A fantastic guest experience might feel priceless, but let's be real, delivering it isn't free. A top-tier general manager has to have a firm grip on the financial side of housekeeping, managing all those costs without ever compromising on quality. When you look at the housekeeping budget, it's pretty much driven by 3 key things: labor, supplies, cleaning agents and linens, and equipment. The GM's role here is to analyze all these costs and find efficiencies. Maybe that's switching to concentrated cleaning solutions to cut down on supply spending. It's all about making smart decisions that minimize expenses while still upholding that premium guest experience your brand is famous for. Now, a huge part of cost control is managing your inventory. And this isn't just about counting bottles and linens. No, it's a strategic function. The GM has to make sure systems are in place to track inventory levels, monitor how supplies are moving, and work closely with purchasing. The goal is simple, but it's absolutely vital: eliminate waste and never, ever run out of what you need. Okay, on to our third and final pillar. This one really elevates the GM's role beyond just the daily grind and into the world of high-level thinking. We're talking about ensuring safety and strategy. This is all about security, being prepared, and long-term planning. So here's the crucial point: security is completely non-negotiable. Your housekeeping department has access to every single part of the hotel. That means they have to follow strict protocols to protect the guests, to protect their fellow staff, and to protect the property itself. And ultimately, the general manager is the one responsible for making sure everyone is aware of these rules and is following them to the letter. This really highlights the department's dual role. Day to day, they are the absolute masters of routine excellence. But in a crisis, whether it's a flood, a fire, a power outage, they instantly become a critical first response team. A strategic GM gets this. They make sure housekeeping is a core part of any and all emergency and recovery plans. We've covered the 3 core pillars: So now let's pull it all together and really define what makes a general manager's leadership in this area so powerful and effective. This right here is the ultimate takeaway. A GM who takes the time to get a deep, thorough understanding of housekeeping, from staffing and budgets all the way to security, becomes truly empowered. You're not just managing a department at that point. You are directly shaping guest loyalty, operational efficiency, and the hotel's bottom line. This knowledge lets you get ahead of problems and continuously elevate the entire facility. And that brings us to one final thought for the future. We all know that technology and AI are completely reshaping our industry. So as we look ahead, the big question becomes, how will a general manager's role evolve to lead and protect that essential human touch that really defines housekeeping excellence in what's becoming an increasingly automated world? Well, that's the challenge for the next generation of hospitality leaders.